हरि ओम् नमः सर्वेभ्यः अद्वैतचिन्तनवर्गे सर्वेषां स्वागतम् ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूर्यवाश्रिकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्. So in the last class we completed the first sutra, Athato Brahma Jityasa. Atha means after, thereafter means Ataha, therefore Brahma Jityasa. Kartavya is the word which is added next. That is, the inquiry into the nature of Brahman should be done, is the simple meaning of the sutra. And we found out the details, analysis and bhashya given by Acharya Shankara on that. Now there, Brahma Jitnyasa Kartavya is it, the nature of Brahman should be inquired upon, is what was the indication of the first sutra. So now we should know what is Brahma. Then only we know what is the desire to know Brahma and how it can be done. It will become meaningful. So here the second sutra, aphorism of the Brahma Sutra is called Janmadhya Adhikaranam, means it is a topic about Brahma which is called Janmadi. Now the origin of the universe etc. is the topic from where that Brahma, what is Brahma, is being derived at. So Brahma Jitnyasitam Ityuktam Kim Lakshanam Punastad Brahma Ityeta Aha Bhagavan Sutrakara. So what has it has been said that now what is the Brahman? You have mentioned that word Brahma Jitnyasa Kartavya. Brahma is being used the word. So what is the word? What does it mean by Brahma? Brahman is what the question is. So for the answer to that is that Yataha means from which. Janma Adi. Janma means birth or creation. Adi means beginning with. Is a simple sutra, short form of what is the definition for Brahma. Means that is Brahman from which are derived the birth of this universe etc. is a simple translation of the sutra. So Bhashyakara, now Shankaracharya is starting with his explanation. What does the sutra mean? Janma Utpatti Adi Asya iti Tadguna Sammitjnana Bahuvrihi. Bahuvrihi is a type of compound. A compound where more than one or two words are being added. Now there are two categories of it. Tadguna Sammitjnana, Atadguna Sammitjnana. Means there is Tadguna means including that. Atadguna means excluding that. In Sammitjnana means in the compound that becomes part of it. So Janma Adi, Janma and Adi are the two words which are used in the Janma Adi. Asya is another word. Yataha is the fourth word of it. So Janma Adi Asya Yataha is from that word meaning here. If you look at the word is Janma Adi Asya Yataha is how you have to split it. The Janma means Utpatti, creation. Adi Asya means here Adi means it is starting from Janma, means it's not Janma is included, not is included or excluded. Question can come. See, starting from the fifth door, when we say whether the fifth one is included or not will become a problem for the clarification part. So starting from the fifth means including the fifth is the normal meaning. but from fifth, just the word from fifth is mentioned. Whether fifth should be included or not is not very clear. So here it is that Satguna Sammit Jnanam means including the Janma should be taken, then only the Bahuvrihi compound, that compound with which the word Janma and Adi will make a sense. So that is how it has to be taken. What does it mean? Janmadi means Janma Sthiti Bhanga Samasartaha Janmanaha cha Aditvam Shruti Nirdeshapeksham Vastu Vrittapeksham cha. Now the compound implies Janma, Sthiti, Bhanga, creation, sustenance and dissolution. These are the is when the words Janmati is meaning that Janma, Sthiti, Bhangam, all the three should be taken, then only you get a compound meaning, Samasartha. Janmanaha cha Aditvam Shruti Nirdeshapeksham Vastu Vrittapeksham cha. The mention of that, Janma or the word Janmanaha in accordance with the statement is in tandem with that of the Shruti Vakya or the Upanishad Vakya. What is the Shruti Vakya which is being referred here? Shruti Nirdeshah Stavat Yato va imani bhutani jayante. Taittiriya Upanishad in the third Valli, Pratama and Pratama Padasya Pratama Sutra is what is that? Yato va imani bhutani jayante Eta jatani jivanti yat pravistya visham vishanti tadeva brahma. See, that is the way in which the Shruti is, Upanishad is referring. So, yatova imani bhutani jayante, the word bhutani jayante, bhutani means all creation. Yataha means from where, imani bhutani, all this creation which you see is jayante, means is taking place. So, not only when it is jayante, asmin vakye janma sthiti pralayanam krama darshanat, in that imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti, where the jivanti means continue to exist in that. Yes, vishanti, pravishanti means dissolution is also mentioned. So there is a krama or an order in which the Upanishad has mentioned about the creation. Janma sthiti pralaya, that is creation, sustenance and dissolution, is the order in which the Taittiriya Upanishad is giving the reference to the source. Yataha means it is the same yataha, janmadhyasya yataha. In the sutra also, here you will find atra also janmadhyasya yataha is here. That same yataha is referred here also in that yatova imani. Yataha means again yata, the same thing. So asmin vakye janma sthiti pralayanam kramadarshana. It is the way in which this is being referred in the Shruti. Now Shruti is, or the Upanishad is considered as a valid means of knowledge. Vastu vrittam api, as far as the nature of things are also concerned, janmanaha labda sattakasya dharminaha sthiti pralaya sambhavat. As for the nature of things are that things has to exist, come into existence through birth, to have a continuance and then dissolution or disintegration. From the krama, but even in the, if you look from the ordinary experiences of our day-to-day living also, unless something comes into existence as by way of creation or birth or whatever may be that, it doesn't get into the second stage of where the growth is, the sustenance is being referred to, or even the destruction. Even if it remains even only for a fraction of a time, that time when it is existing has to be preceded by a creation, or the object has to be coming into existence, then remaining in existence, and then dissolution. So that vastu vrittam api, there also you have the krama nirdesha. Asya iti pratyakshadi sannidha api tasya dharminah idama nirdeshah. Idam, the word idam here in the sutra, in the Upanishad Vakya, occurring as a constituent of the word asya. So from the word asya is indicated by the word idam in the Upanishad Vakya. Yado va imani jadani, in that the word idam is coming. So that is indicated by the universe, that is presented by the perception, when we are seeing that the world is coming into existence. So shashti janmadi dharma sambandhartha, that the case of sixth case ending of janmanaha, see, that is the sixth case, is indicating the relationship with entity from where the relationship. So the janma takes place from something. That shows there is a relationship between from where the cause and the effect. Janma or the birth is an effect from a cause, so there is a cause and effect relationship. So that is the sixth case ending, that word of is used in the shashti, sambandha aste shashti, janmadi. In everything that there is, you will find that there is a relation, cause effect relationship, which is indicated by that. So yataha means when there, from there, which the janmadi, it is being, cause and effect is being read. Yataha iti karana nirdeshaha. So yataha is the cause. The word yataha, from which, is indicated as the cause, and the clause, that is Brahman, has to be added. It is adhyahartavyam. So yataha, see, we heard that in the first sutra, athato brahma jitnyasa kartavya, that the word kartavya was not there in the sutra, but it has been imported to complete the meaning of it. Same way, in the second sutra also, janmadhyasya yataha tad brahma, that tad brahma is the vakyashesha, or that has to be imported to complete the meaning, because the first sutra is talking about brahma, which way there should be a desire. So that brahma is there in the first sutra, that has now to be brought anuvritti rupena in the second sutra, so that the brahma jitnyasa, the word brahma from the first sutra, comes automatically to complete the meaning of the second sutra. Janmadhyasya yataha tad brahma, yataha tad brahma, that is a complete, the meaning will come. So that is why the word that is Brahman has to be added as per the, not only grammar, but even from the methodology of completing a meaning of a sutra, because sutras are all encrypted, small as pregnant words, which by itself may not look meaningful, but they get the meaning when we get the meaning completed by the words which are reported from the neighboring sutras. So that is why that word tad brahma is the word which need to be imported to complete the meaning. Asya jakataha namarupabhyam vyakritasya aneka kartru bhoktru samyuktasya pratiniyata deshakala nimitta क्रियाफलाश्रयस्य मनसापि अचिन्त्य रचनारूपस्य जन्मस्थितिभङ्गं यतः सर्वज्ञात् सर्वशक्तेः कारणात् भवति तद् ब्रह्म इति वाक्यशेषः. Now here is where Acharya is using that the continuity. This one sentence which we see here, अस्य जगतः नामरूपाभ्यां व्याकृतस्य अनेक कर्तृभोक्तृ संयुक्तस्य प्रतिनियत देशकालनिमित्त क्रियाफलाश्रयस्य मनसापि अचिन्त्य रचनारूपस्य जन्मस्थितिभङ्ग यतः सर्वज्ञा सर्वशक्तेः कारणात् भवति is one sentence which is defining the entire second sutra. In fact, the meaning of the second sutra is in this sentence. What does it say? asya jagatah, of this world, what we call it as this universe, or what this experience of this world, nama rupabhyam vyakritasya, which is being vyakritam means appearing or being perceived or perceived by in the forms of name and forms, nama and rupa, name and form. Without name and form, nothing can be perceived or experienced. So when it is said that universe, we have two things in our mind. The universe as an entity is one aspect which we are all familiar with, where we say the cosmos, the galaxies, the stars, the moon, the sun, the earth, the creations on the earth which we see, that all those things is put together is what we call jagat, or means that the world. But if you really look into the deeper meaning of it, they all can be reduced into two things, either by a name or a form or a combination of two. The whole experience of the world is nothing but name and form. Even the internal emotions, feelings and thoughts are names, where the forms are not there but names are still there. So nama rupa, nama matra, if you remember that dialogue between Sanat Kumara and Narada, where he says all these what you have studied is only name alone, nama matra. So same way, this entire jagat, asya jagatah, nama rupabhyam vyakritasya, in the way in which it is being presented to us for experiencing, in which aneka kartru bhoktru samyuktasya, there are lot of multiple entities. Some of them are doers, some of them are enjoyers, basically referring to the mimamsa part of it, or the purva mimamsa, where there are those who do kriya and those who are phala, those who are enjoy the fruits of action. So all those things are still embedded within the name and forms only. Pratiniyata deshakala nimitta kriya phalashrayasya. Pratiniyata, there is a very defined niyama or the rule which is confined within the deshakala nimitta. Desha means space, kala means time, nimitta means causation. So space time causation is the controlling factor, pratiniyata. It's confined within the rules of the space time and causation is what is the entire jagat, entire world, which we are experiencing in the form of names and forms. In the names and forms, we are further dividing this as subject and object. Kartru, bhoktru, we can say subject and object, right? The karta is the subject, bhokta, the one which is being enjoyed is the bhokta. So this is sum total of what is called the jagat. That is kriya phalashrayasya. Kriya phalashrayasya means cause and effect. Kriya and phala, cause and effect, ashrayasya. So all those things now has been put together into one category. The cause and effect, which is defined by space, time and causation, and in which individual eyes, if you look at it, they are all nothing but names and forms. And when you bring in names and forms, the attitude, either the subject and the object, is the way in which we perceive the world. I am the subject, the world is an object. For the world is made with the world, anybody in the world, he is a subject, I become an object. So all those things are jagatah nama rupapyam vyakritasya aneka kartru bhoktru samyukta pratiniyata deshakala nimitta kriya phalashrayasya. In this type of a world, how does somebody think about it? manasapi achintya rachana rupasya. This type of a creation is even impossible for ordinary minds to think about it, because many of the things are out of reach for the mind. But many of the cause and effect are not even reducible by the mind, because we see the effect, we do not know what is the cause. We see sometimes something being done, but the results are not being seen. So all those type of, peculiarity which is happening in the world, but there is a definitive rule of space, time and causation. This type of a creation is beyond the capability, manasapi achintya rachana rupasya. By the ordinary mind, nobody can even, apprehend or even conceive it in the mind what is that source which has all these potencies to do a creation of this world. Janma sthiti bhangam, and all the things which have been mentioned till now in the jagat, they are all affected by creation, sustenance and dissolution. Not only that they are being created, they are being maintained, and they are also dissolved. Sometimes after some time we don't see them. So where did the creation go? Where did it vanish? From where did they come? From where did, while sustenance we are able to transact desha kala kama nimitta and all the time, space and causation, and then we can attribute name and form and what you call the subject objective experiences, etc. But the creation, where does it come from? After the dissolution, where do they vanish? We are not able to manasapi achintya rachana rupam asti. Therefore janma sthiti bhankam, who can do it, such a thing, yataha, or by of which. So this type of a creation, sarvajnat sarvashaktehe karanat bhavati. Only if there is an omnipotent and omniscient cause for these type of creation, such a creation is possible, not otherwise. Therefore this enormity of creation, which ordinary human mind can even not even conceive, can be conceived and created only by such an entity which we assume that he should be omnipotent, because the human potencies is beyond human potencies, and omniscient, and the knowledge or the knowledge for creation, sustenance and dissolution of each aspect, from an atom to a galaxy or multi galaxies or multiverse, such a huge creation cannot be job of an ordinary entity. It has to be a omnipotent and omniscient thing, which is the karanat bhavati. Tad brahma iti vakyashesha. Therefore the sutra has to have the importing of the word brahma from the previous sutra, brahma jitnyasa brahma. That brahma has to be now brought in to complete the meaning. Therefore this sutra which we have now referred to, janmadhyasya yataha, tad brahma, becomes the complete sutra. Because why is that the type of a brahma? अस्य जगतः नामरूपाभ्यां व्याकृतस्य अनेक कर्तृभोक्तृ संयुक्तस्य प्रतिनियतदेशकालनिमित्तक्रियाफलाश्रयस्य मनसाप्यचिन्त्य रचनारूपस्य जन्मस्थितिभङ्गं यतः सर्वज्ञा सर्वशक्तेः कारणात् एव भवति. So there is only one way such a creation can ever take place, which is a cause from which the whole creation is coming. Therefore it is called janma adi. It is from where the creation is coming from. This is the first, that meaning of the sutra in Kriya. Anyesham api bhava vikaranam trishu eva andarbhavah iti janmasthiti nashanam iha grahanam. Now Acharya is getting into a bit of explanation of these terminologies which are used here. Anyesham api bhava vikaranam. See, in the case of what is called Shadbhava Vikara is accepted by the Mimamsaka or the Purva Mimamsa, those people. Yaska, when he wrote Niruptam, in the Niruptam he has mentioned that all creation has to go through 6 modulations. Janma, first it has to be having a creation or a birth. Sthiti, not only that Janma, he will be followed by Sthiti. Sthiti means existence. The creation, moment a creation takes, existence comes into being. Both are almost simultaneous. But the creation has to be preceded, then only the existence can come. So, Janma, Sthiti, Vriddhi. Once the existence comes, the potency for it to grow into bigger one, or grow from the existence under which it has been born to a bigger one, or anything. Otherwise, Parinama. Vriddhi, Parinama. Parinama is modulations or variations on the existence itself. So, Janma, Asti, Vriddhi, Parinama. Now, all these things are up to the stage where it is growing or existing part of it. Then comes the 5th one, which is called Apakshayam. Apakshayam means small and incremental destruction of the created one. From the brim of existence, it starts losing its creation, or the parts of the creation. If it is into parts, it will start losing parts, becoming less effective or less operational. Or if it is the size wise, it can start shrinking, which is called an apakshaya again. And the last one is vinasha, means dissolution, into which it ceases to exist anymore. So the existence which we saw is now reversed by a cessation. So Janma, Vriddhi, Parinama, Apakshaya, Vinasha. Janma, Asna. Janma, Sthiti, Vriddhi, Parinama, Apakshaya, Vinasha. These are the Shasht Bhava Vikara. So Anyesham api Bhava Vikaranam Trishu eva Andarbhava iti Janma Sthiti Nasham iha Grahanam. So what Acharya says is that here we are talking only about Janma, Sthiti and Vinasha. That is creation, existence and dissolution. So what happened to Vriddhi, Parinama and Apakshaya? He says that it is included in the Sthiti. When it is existing, whatever changes happening in the existence is not without existence. That what we call is as the Vriddhi, Parinama, Apakshaya. That means the growth and the modifications and the destruction or the decay which is taking place is for an existing thing. So Sthiti is including of all those things. Therefore Andarbhavaha iti Grahanam. That is how it has to be included in that modification. Yaska Paripadhitanam tu Jayate Asti Ityadinam Grahane Tesham Jagatah Sthiti Kale Sambhavyamanatvad Moola Karanat Utpatti Sthiti Nashaha Jagatah na Grihita Sihu iti Ashanketa Tad Ma Shanki iti Ya Utpatti Brahmanaha Tatraiva Sthiti Pralayascha Tad Eva Grihyante. Now Acharya says that these Yaska, what he has said in the Nirukta, Yaska Paripadhitana, what are the 6 ones? Jayate, starting from Jayate, Asti, Vardade, Parinamate, Apakshiyate, Vinashyate. Ityadinam Grahanam Tesham Jagata Sthiti Kale. That is what he is saying there. Sthiti Kale. That Sthiti Kale means at the time of existence, these things can be sambhavyamanat manatvad. It happens only when the sthiti-kale, what is the growth, the modification and the decay is only in the sthiti-kale. Moola karana, therefore the root cause of the thing we can take only into three. Utpatti sthiti vinashaha is need to be only taken as the basic requirements of the jagataha. If na grihita syu iti ashanka, therefore there can be a doubt that what happens to the three which is there in the sthiti-kala, that is growth, modification and decay. So that is not included in the sutra, the Dvitiya and the second sutra. There can be a doubt that why are we only talking about that, also has to be included. There should not be any doubt on it. That ma shanki, should not have a doubt about it. The reason why is that iti ya utpatti brahmanaha, this utpatti or the janma what we are talking about is of Brahma. Tatraiva sthiti tatraiva pralayahascha tadeva grihyante. As per us Advaitins, the janma is taking place from Brahma. Tatraiva sthiti, it is remaining in Brahma only. Tatraiva pralayascha, and the dissolution is also in Brahma only. This is the way it has to be understood, because now why? Because nama rupadyam vyakrita, the jagat is in the name and form. The mud is for you have the creation of the pot. The existence of the pot is in the mud, or using the mud, or mud itself is the pot. And when the pot is destroyed, it is still remaining the mud. So same way, the brahmanaha, utpatti brahmanaha, is that the creation of what is happening in the form of name and form, kartru bhoktru, now all those type of things which we said, no, desha kala nimitta, all those things are coming out of Brahma. They exist in Brahma. Tatraiva sthiti tatraiva pralayascha. When they dissolve, where do they go? Because it cannot go anywhere other than that. When the pot is destroyed, the pot is nothing but mud. So what happens is what is lost is the name and form of the pot. But the mud which was the cause for the pot is remaining the mud even when the pot is destroyed. Same way, the entire world, Jagat, the universe which we call it as, is coming from Brahma, remaining in Brahma, and is going back to Brahma when the names or forms are not being experienced. This is the way it has to be grishyante. न च तद् यथा उक्तविशेषणस्य जगतः यदा उक्तविशेषणम् ईश्वरं मुक्त्वा अन्यतः प्रधानात् अचेतनात् अणुभ्यः अभावात् संसारिणः वा उत्पत्ति आदि संभावयितुं शक्यम्. Here he is refuting all the other philosophies which are referring to the cause of creation. Nacha, it should be required, nacha sambhavidam shakyam. That is how we have to anvaya. We have to say. Ukta visheshanasya jagataha. Now jagata has been defined as, what is the ukta visheshana? Defined visheshana means the qualification with which the world has been defined. Nama rupa is the way in which the jagat has been explained as that is the visheshana in which the jagat is being experienced. Evam tada yatha ukta visheshanam ishwaram. Now there is an ishwara which has been that janmadhyasya yataha, from brahmanaha, that ishwara and brahmana is the same here. Ukta visheshanam ishwaram muktva means vediriktam. Anyataha, there cannot be anything other than that. Pradhanat. Now Sankhya people say Pradhana is that from which the whole world is being created. The sattva rajas tamas When it is in Samya Bhava or in equilibrium, it is called Pradhana. When that is not in equilibrium, the creation takes place depending upon the predominance of Sattva, Rajas or Tamas, and that is called Prakriti. And the Prakriti is the creation using the Pradhana and Prakriti is the same. So that Prakriti, when the modifications of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas happens, is independent of a Chetana Vastu, Acetanat. There is no causation for this. Why do the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas modifications, Samya Bhava, when it is in equilibrium, there is no creation. When the equilibrium is disturbed, there should be some cause for the disturbance of the equilibrium. That is not referred, that the Sankhya philosophy is not referring to that. They just say that when the equilibrium is lost, the creation appears to be happening. But here we are saying that Achetana, if there is no Chetanavan Purusha, no intelligent being is there, no conscious entity which is the cause for this disturbance, such a creation can never take place. Pradhanat Acetanat. Acetanat Pradhanat iti. That is how it is being. Then there is the other philosophers, Anubhya. They say that it is all in atomic in nature. As the atoms are the one, and atoms, when they come together, they form into different materials, and all the materials which we see in the world are formations of nothing but atoms. But who created the atom, they are not referring to. They are saying atom is nityaha, there it is eternal, and there is no need for creation, that atoms. But that doesn't, logically answer that. But something should have caused that. Even though we assume it is eternal, that that inert and insentient atom cannot become a cause for a conscious or intelligent creation. Then comes abhavat, the shunyavadins. It is from the absence something comes up. Only if there is absence, something can come. Because if something is there already present, then it cannot come again. So their logic is that there has to be an absence of something for something yet to come up in that place, and that the cause for something to appear or to become something, the absence of that is the cause. So that is why the Shunyavadins, when they say abhavat, so from the absence of something comes up, is the way in which they say it. Then comes the samsarina, the Mimamsa people, where they say that it is the cause, it is the samsara, or the krita vyagama, krita pranasha. There are all those things saying that what is being the cause and effect of what is a unending cycle of samsara. There is, even if you remember last class I said 80 to 90% of the earlier Indian philosophers did not accept an Ishvara. For them, God was not needed for the world, because it is Anadi Ananta. It keeps on happening, and it is eternal, both forward and backward. It is an experience in between what is called the world. So there is nobody who is creating the world, nobody dissolving the world. What is happening is only natural selection, which will be dealing in the next sentence. So what happens is that to even have the natural selection, there should be a potential. Something should be there from which natural selection can also happen. So something cannot come from nothing, even if it is something is existing in the form of an atom or even a very minute particle. The creation of that is done by whom is not answered by anybody of them. They are accepting that Big Bang took place. Okay, who created the Big Bang? From where did it? Which space did it happen? What time did it happen? Nothing can be answered in that from that point of view. That is a hypothetical statement from where the rest of the story is being created. It is just like that. When we wake up, how did the idea I came up or the world come up in our experience is not explained by that. So that is the way in which Big Bang is being explained. So samsarinaha means those people who call that cause and effect, karma phala, karma and karma phala are the reason why the world is continuing in the perpetual motion. Va utpatti, adi sambhavidam, all those things cannot utpatti adi sambhavayitum shakyam. Tatra utpatti adi na sambhavetum shakyam. So the na is the first word, so that has to be brought here. The creation can never happen with all these philosophies which I have been referring to till now as the cause by the earlier philosophers. So that none of them hold water as for the reason for creation. Now there are certain people say swabhavataha, nacha swabhavataha. That is what I said, natural. It is the nature which is happening. But the nature what is happening is within the vishishta desha kala nimittanam iha upadanat. And natural selection has been given under a condition of specific space and time and the causation. Who created the space, time and causation for the natural selection? That is not answered. So it cannot originate spontaneously, or can the universe continue itself without any time, space and causation? So the time, space and causation has to be there. The causation has rules. There are intelligent rules in the time, in the causation thing. If you do a cause has got a defined answer, a result which is coming. Who defines the cause and the effect? Who puts the conditions for all those things? Why are certain times it is not happening? Why is certain time it's happening? Why sometimes in the space and time, depending upon the space and time, the same activity will give different results? So there are definitive rules. Niyata means definitely predefined or derived formulas under which things are happening. It cannot be a spontaneous activity also. So this is the way in which etat eva anumanam samsari vyatirekta ishvaraha astitvat adi sadhanam manyante ishvara karanavadinaha. Now those who stand for God, those who are believing, mainly the Nayayikas are saying that these are all creation of the God. This is the later Nayayikas. And they bring, they bring this justification, anumanam. They say that samsari vyatirikta ishvaraha, that Paramatma and Jivatma, the two Atma, they are all dravya. So dravya, and in the dravya, Atma dravya, there is knowledge is a residing quality, not the nature of Atma, but it is a quality residing in the nature called in the matter called Atma. That is how Nayayikas call it as. So those who stand that, so there the Ishvara is Sarvatnyaha, Vibhu, Nityaha. That this is the way in which they define it. He is knower of everything, because all knowledge is residing in it. Therefore, the quality of knowledge is residing of all the knowledge is only placed in only one person, and that's Ekaha. Therefore, he is one. Now, this is how the Nayayika has defined as God. Astittvadi sadhanam manyante ishvara karanaha. So, their inference is the reason why which they say that such an existence is what is called God, and he is distinguished from the ordinary people, human beings, which is defined by the limitations of the jnana, or they are not sarvatnya. Only one sarvatnya is the Ishvara, and he is the cause for all those things. So when we say Advaitin, we are referring from this Ishvara in the previous statement. What we refer as Ishvara is the Brahma itself. Here, the Nayayika is referring Ishvara is the Atma, Paramatma, which is a Dravya as per the Nayayikas. And it is different from the Jivatma. Jivatma, Paramatma is the difference is given by the Nayayika. So all these type of philosophies have got their own flaws, which cannot justify and give an answer to such a manasavi achintya rachana. What cannot be even thought by any human being, even all the human beings thought put together cannot create the world. Let the 8 billion human beings put together decide to create a world, they cannot create a world. So such is the condition of the creator, which has got enormous omnipotency and omnisciency. Therefore such a Ishvara is none other than Tad Brahma. That is what we refer to as Brahma, not just as the Ishvara which is being referred by the Nayayikas. They also use the word Ishvara, but their Ishvara is derived out of Anumana or inference, but ours is not of an inference. That in the coming sentences, Acharya is explaining, Shankara is explaining why is it not an inference. He is coming to that. So we have now defined that it is neither the Nayayikas, nor the Bauta, nor the Sankhyas, nor the Shunyavadins, nor the Anuvadins. None of them have been able to clearly give a explanation for the creation of the world, because here when we say that the Brahma is what is atirikta, is not different from what Janmadi, in which Janma happens, in which it exists, into which it decides. So for what is the pramanam for that, or what is the valuable source means of knowledge for that? The Upanishad Vakya. Yato va imani jata, yato yuvani jata, jayate yena jatani jivanti yat pravisya pisham vishanti. This statement of the Taittiriya Upanishad is a valid statement which says that it comes from that, it remains in that, it dissolves in that. Now, if you look at I explained about the pot example. Now, even if you look at the water example, the water, when it is water, it is in water. When it is cloud, the appearance nama rupa of cloud has come, but essentially that is nothing but water molecules itself. Water itself is in the form of clouds. It is a gaseous form, that's all. And when it rains and goes back into the water, in the ocean again, there also it is not changed from water. So water remains as water all the time. Same way, the mud became the pot and dissolved as to become the mud, the gold, the ornaments, dissolving back to the ornaments into gold. Everywhere you look at it, the cause is not separate from the effect, or the effect is not different from the cause. The cause itself, when appears as something else with a different name and form, we call it as an effect. And the effect is treated as separate from the cause for the transactional purpose, but not in reality, they are not different. Even when we are using the pot for all our activity, it is remaining as mud only. Same way, the ornaments are being used as different purposes, but while the usage, they still remain the parent metal, but which from the ornaments are being made. Same is the case when we say that Janmadyasya Yataha in the sutra, we are talking to that from which, without losing its original nature, the name and form appears. So imani bhutani jayante, that is the first stage. When the name and forms appear, they have not lost Brahma from that. The mud has not become non-mud when it became a pot. So same way, the name and form the world appears to be is not separate from Brahma. It is in Brahma, the name and form, we are calling it by different names and forms. Yena jadani jivante, when they exist, what do they depend upon for their existence? The shape and the form of the pot has the dependency on the mud. Without mud, there is no existence of the pot. Same way, without Brahma, the name and form of the universe cannot exist. That is what is Brahma. And when the name and form is lost, where can it go? It can go only to the place where it has come from. When the pot has been destroyed, the mud which the pot appear to be existing has to go back to the mud. Same way, the whole world will have to go back into the same place where it has come, and that is Tadeva Brahma, Tad Brahma. So, Janmadyasya Etaha Tad Brahma. So, the opponent is now asking a question. Nanu Isha Api Tadeva Upanyastam Janmadi Sutre. It's not the very inference presented in the sutra by Janmadyasya Etaha. Na. The Vedanta says no. Vedanta Vakya Kusuma Grada Narthatvat Sutrana. Vedanta Vakya Kusuma Gradanarthatvat Sutrana. Sutrana of the aphorisms, for the aphorisms, the Vedanta Vakya Kusuma Gradana, that the flowers of the Upanishadic sentences becomes the garland in the form of a stringing together, makes the meaning clearer for the sutra. The sutra by itself is a thread, but the thread becomes a garland only when you adorn it with flowers. And what are the flowers? Vedanta Vakya Kusuma. This Vedanta means Upanishad. Upanishad Vakya Kusumam means the flowers in the form of Vedanta Vakya, or the Upanishad Senam, Gradanartham, by stringing them together. Only the sutra becomes meaningful. Therefore, we have to include the meaning of the Upanishadic words to complete the meaning of the sutras. Not that it is an inference from the sutra. Yet nanuya tat upanyastam janmadi sutra is the question which the opponent asked. It is not an inference from the sutra. We cannot derive it from that unless we complete the garland with the flowers of the words of the Upanishad. Vedanta vakyani hi sutrairuddhasritya vicharyante. For this is precisely the sentences of the Upanishads are referred to and discussed in the aphorism. These sutras of the Upanishad or the Brahma Sutra by itself cannot be understood unless you decorate them with the Vakya or the words of the Upanishad, which makes the sutras meaningful. Therefore, the sutra by itself cannot be a point of inference or a matter of inference. We need to adorn them with the flowery words of the Upanishads, which adds to the beauty of the sutra. Not only adds to that, but also explains the underlying meaning and potency of the sutras. This is how the Acharya is now referring to the second thing. Now from here, he is explaining to some other aspect. What does it, the main part he is saying? Vakyartha vicharana adyavasana nivritta hi brahmavagati na anumanadi pramanandara nivritta. Brahmavagati, the realization of Brahma, is not an inference. Na anumanadi pramanandara nivritta. It is not, you cannot resolve it by inference of by the words of the Upanishad as a means to complete the inference. No. Vakya artha vichara adyavasana nivritta. That vakya artha vichara, that conviction arising out of the manana of the vakyartha, the hidden meanings or the exact meaning of the Upanishadic words. Adyavasana, only when that is become a conviction, nivritta, all those doubts when it is being removed, he indeed Brahma avagati, the realization of Brahma, and it is not an inferential knowledge, it is an avagati. Avagati means it is a direct experience. So this is what Acharya wants to very clearly saying. We are using the words of the Upanishad. but it is not a means of knowledge alone, but it is directly giving a direct experience. This direct experience is everybody's property. Those who do Vakyartha Vichara, the word and the meaning, and on that those who do manana and nididhyasana, then for him, such a person, the Brahmavagati is definite. And it is inferential knowledge will be only for those who are not doing Vakyartha Vichara, but Vakya Vichara. Vakya Vichara is analyzing the sentences. And Vakyartha Vichara is the meaning of the words have to be taught. Then only it becomes your experience. Otherwise, it is a bookish knowledge. The bookish knowledge is called the inference. But it becomes our knowledge only when we think about the meaning of those statements of the Upanishad words, Vakyartha, Vichara. Then only we can really say that it is not an inference, it is my conviction. Brahmavagati is that way in which, from which the world is coming up, in which the world is existing, into which the world is dissolving. At all the 3 points of time, the world has never left even for a second from what it was before creation as Brahma. Even when the names and forms appeared, that time also what is experienced is Brahma, but we call it as a name and form and the world, and then they exist. We transact with the name and form as the transactional purpose, but in reality it is nothing but the Brahma, even when we are transacting with the world. And when the name and forms are not being experienced, even then Brahma remains as Brahma, into which the names and forms have dissolved back, because it is from where it has come. Same way it goes back into that. This type of a Vakyartha Vichara eva Brahmavagati. So I'll stop here and we'll continue the remaining explanation of Sutra in the next coming Tuesday. Any questions?
Mahodaya,
so this name and form you said needed to perceive the world, right?
Yes.
Can you apply it to, can you do a anvaya for that? Kshana kshanam api srishtihi bhavati. Is the name needed to perceive the world?
Can you think of something? I know you can't explain or you can't narrate it, but I'm asking you to think of something where you have an experience and you don't have a name or a form for it. It can be a common name, like it or they.
Yeah, right. I understand what you're asking, and I thought about it. It feels like to me that I'm not really thinking of the name. When I imagine things, it feels like without the name I'm getting there, but I must be wrong.
No,
because even the Swapna word is.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, the thoughts and just thinking about things, that is also going into the Swapna world, the dream world. That is also taking on a subtle persona and going into it. So thoughts come all the time. Are we taking it? Are they coming because we are thinking of the names? They just seem to come.
No, every experience, whether you use a name or form, there is an underlying definition for it. That definition itself is a Namarupa. See, for example, the happiness itself, it is an experience, but you don't know what is the cause of that happiness or what is the thing, but I am happy or I am sorrowful, whichever way you want to think about it. But even that experience is with a name that either it is a happiness or a sorrow, is mandatory for us to even think about it. You may not have a specific name, forget about it, but there is a definition which can be later or remembered with a certain name. Every experience
later maybe.
Yeah, every experience becomes a memory later.
Yeah,
right. So when it becomes an experience later, you are recalling it with a name and form, either by the location, space and time, desha kala nimitta. Any one of these will become an adjective for explaining it, right?
So in recollection, okay,
right. Now before becoming a recollection, when it is happening, as and when it is happening, you are creating a definition for the happening. Knowingly or unknowingly, it will happen to everyone, because experience without a definition is not an experience. The only experience which is there without a definition is who am I, what is my nature. There you don't have a definition, you don't have a name for it to it. I am there, that you may use the word I, but that I is misconceived I. But without the notion of the I, the existence of an experiencer or an entity which is witnessing. See, this is the problem. When we are using the words, it will come that naturally it will come to definitions of names and forms. That is why I said we cannot even think of a situation where without a name and form an experience can be defined. Let it be an object or an experience, doesn't matter. The world is full of experiences. Even the name and form is an experience. The object which we perceive by name or form is an experience onto which we give a name and form. Right? So what we have to understand is that when it is mentioned that what is Jagat is nothing but appearances of names and forms. It is not the cosmos, the what you call the stars, the moon, the earth, the planet, the animals, the kingdom, all those things which we are mattering. We assume they are independent existences. But they are nothing but names and forms of experiences. And experience is what? It is in experience. Experiences come, experiences remain, and experiences dissolve into it. Now that experience, you call it as awareness, consciousness, Brahma, Atma, Chaitanya. These are all our usage of words for explaining it. But as an independent person who does the Vakyartha Vichara, there will be a stage when it becomes a conviction that this Vakya and Artha are separate because I have separated it out. The name elephant and the elephant are not two. The elephant without a name and the name elephant without a form can never be conceived by us. Same way, every experience which when we name it, the experience is the object or the artha, the definition or the name which we provide for that experience, we think it as two separate. That dichotomy creation is the reason why we feel that the world is real.
Okay. And this part made of mud, just as we say seeing the snake in the rope, can we say seeing part in the mud? And it's just seeing the part in the mud, right? So
but there, say that now the difference between the snake and the rope and the pot in the mud is two different aspects of adhyasa or superimposition. One is a superimposition where there is a utility aspect of it. The pot. They are also adhyasa only. The mud itself is called the pot. But in the case of a snake and the rope has no utility at all, but it creates an experience. Without existence, without a real existence of something, when it is giving experience, we are giving reality to the cause of experience. A non-real state is removed and then a real state is attributed for the time being to justify the effect of the cause. Effect is the fear of the snake. That was real. So a real experience of fear cannot be from an unreal snake. So therefore, the real snake was, even though it was not there, the reality was the rope. In the appearance of the snake, the name and form of the snake which we created onto the rope is the cause for the fear, not the rope per se.
Okay, so here you're saying the experience and then we're looking for the cause of it. So
yes,
experience, and you have explained this before, that it's the experience that is real. So I'm trying to understand that. First, so it is how I understand that not seeing the substratum we see. Seeing means experiencing. That is the same thing, right? Seeing and experiencing. So not seeing the substratum, we see and experience all this, and then we are giving it a cause.
Yeah.
Or did I? Okay.
Yes, exactly. The world is being experienced. Now we are giving a cause for it.
Okay.
And when we inquire into that nature of the world vanishes.
So that is why that word inquiry is so important. Okay.
Yes. The world is now gone, and what is remaining is names and forms. The experience of the name and form, we thought it is the world.
Okay. Yeah, non-inquiry keeps us in this, and inquiry will remove it. So I don't think we even think about cause. We just accept the experience as real.
Yeah, but those who are inquiring into wanting to know the truth, they get into the cause. They find out, why am I, who am I? All these are inquiry into the cause, no?
Yes. Yeah, and that's when you realize that there is no cause, so there is no experience also.
Right.
Okay. It's interesting that Nayayikas, being so, what do you say, adamant about everything being logical, but they accept Ishvara by anumanam only.
Yeah, see, in Nayayika's case also, Kanada, Gautama, they are all not accepted Ishvara. Only Nyaya Kusamanjali, when Udayanacharya came into the scenario, he wrote Prakarana Granthas or the Nyaya Kusamanjali mainly, where he wrote that, the existence of God. And there is a story also which says that, he became so egoistic about that, that he defeated all the Buddhas and Jainas and other, non-believers of God, that he one day went to Varanasi and Vishwanatha from the temple did not respect his visit there. So he became angry and he uttered a poem which says, your very existence now is because of my life full-time work of defeating your people who do not believe you. So don't think you can exist without me.
Oh.
There's a verse, Madimattosi, like that. There's some word, I don't remember it now exactly.
Mattaha.
You have become intoxicated because of your own existence, because your existence was established by my lifetime work by defeating all the Buddhas and Jainas and others. So don't think that you can exist without me. My support, not that way. It's a story. You can't believe it anyway.
Yeah, you did say recently, yes, now I remember, that Ishvara was brought in later, but now it is being taught that way also. So
yeah.
Okay. Dhanyawad Mahoday.
Dhanyawad. Any other questions? Okay.
Binderji,
yes.
Universe only it starts the name and time and space on that.
Everything is name and form, no?
Yes, but in Sushupti there is no time and space. So that is the before that manifest.
No, there are two aspects of Sushupti which you have to take. Which one are you referring to? The waker talking about the Sushupti or the Sushupta explaining his experience?
Yes.
If you are talking about the Sushupta explaining his experience, there is no name and form.
Yes.
But if the waker is explaining my deep sleep, then my deep sleep is an experience of my the individual. The waker is giving explanation to his absence of experience. The absence of experience becomes a name and form.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll stop here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, tell me.
Then that is the Surya Bindoji that knows.
Even that time, in that case also, the moment you use the word Turiya, etc., it is our concept.
Yes. There is no stage, no fourth or there is a
Neha nanasti kinchana. There is nothing multiple in this world. There is only one.
Yes. Thank you.
Which itself is now, that is why Vacharambanam Vigaro Namadeyam Mritikatyeva Satyam, etc., being told by the Upanishad. The names and forms of the mud pots and other things are all nothing but mud. Gold ornaments are nothing but gold. Water, nothing but water. Same way, yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat pravitya vishanti sadeva brahma. That there's only Brahma there. The Brahma itself appears as the world, and it remains in the Brahma as a world. It appears even when existing, it is Brahma, but we call it by name and form. When the name and forms are vanished, we do not know where it has gone. That is not gone anywhere. It is still there as Brahma only. What the stage was there? The stage which was there before it was born. So now assume that who you are before becoming a waker, after the whole world of waking and dream, when it is dissolved, where did you go? You are in the deep sleep, or you have been always that. The world of experiences came, you became a person of the world or a dreamer. And when the world of dream and the waking is gone, even when the world of experience of the waking and the dream is happening, the I, that I which was there in the deep sleep is still present as a waker and everything. That is why you are able to say, I am going through waking, dream and deep sleep. Right?
Yes.
The experiences are changing. The experiencer, in which the experiences are appearing to take place, has never changed.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
More one more question. If
yes, please.
You have, okay.
Yeah.
So I was listening to your Mundaka Upanishad teachings, and you said that one who becomes a Brahmagnani, in his kula, no one ever will be born, who is not a Brahmagnani. And you explained it that because he sees himself everywhere in everything, and so that is what the meaning is there, and not that there's a kula. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tat paramam dhamam mama yat gatva na nivartante. So that is also like in Bahuvachanam there, plural. Is that the same meaning?
Yeah. See, ignorance has an end. And knowledge, once it is dawned, it can never go.
Okay. So te meaning there that because there is no plurality, there is only one. So can you explain it a little bit more? What that te na nivartante?
Yadgatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. All those people who are achieving that state, not everybody is achieving that state. So when he used the word multiple, in the plural, those who achieve, in the plural sense when he is using is that those who think they are separate and independent, they lose what they thought their independence and separatedness. Once they come to this knowledge, and once they know that they are not separate and independent, they will never go back into the separate and independent individuality again.
So
that is why Nanavartante.
That's why. Okay, because the created plurality goes away.
Yes.
Okay.
Ajnanena avrutam jnanam tena muhyanti jandavah. Is there no? It is a covering of the ignorance with which people are thinking that the world is real, the multiple is experience, independence, individuality, world, Ishvara, Jiva, Jagat, and all those things are from that moha only. Once the knowledge comes, yatrana anya pasyati, anya shrunoti, anya vijarati, there is nothing anya.
Yeah.
That anyatvam, when it is lost, ekatvam eva vashishyate.
Yeah.
Shuddha chaitanya kevaloha. Okay. पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् थैंक यू